Hey guys, it's me, Tiana Jones, also known as Callie Faye, and I'm back today with so many people from different countries that are so excited to spread the faith and the message. And today is Global Peace, Sustainable Development Goal Day 9, and this is based on innovation. So this is for industry, innovation, and infrastructure. But the goal here is to find a solution for all of those things, because we want to show that we can do this as a united collateral. Please, guys, welcome my first international guest speaker, Katia Bibliari. Welcome.
Hello, everyone, again from Georgia. And I have to say a few words because I'm very grateful. I join you every day, and I'm very grateful because I am able to collect information while searching for additional information. I am really collecting useful information about it. And today I'm going to talk about one of the most important topics. This is SDG 9, which focuses on building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation. It is an important goal for sustainable development in any country, especially in my country. And in Georgia, there have been various initiatives and policies aimed at advancing this goal. One of the key initiatives in Georgia is the establishment of the Georgia Innovation and Technology Agency, which was created in 2019 to support the development of innovative and technology-based businesses in the country. GITA provides various services to startups and small and medium-sized enterprises, including funding, mentoring, and networking opportunities. This has helped to create a supportive ecosystem for technology-based businesses in Georgia. Another important initiative is the establishment of the Georgian Innovation and Technology Park, and this park provides a space for technology-based companies to collaborate and innovate. It offers various facilities, including research and development labs, office spaces, and conference rooms. This park has already attracted several companies, including international technology firms. In terms of infrastructure, Georgia has made significant progress in recent years. The construction of new highways, railways, and ports has improved connectivity within the country and with neighboring countries. Georgia's strategic location also makes an important transit hub for the region, with several major transportation corridors passing through the country. Despite these successes, there are still challenges to be addressed in achieving SDG 9 in Georgia. For example, access to financing remains a challenge for many innovative startups in the country. Additionally, further modernization and upgrading of infrastructure are needed to keep up with changing technologies and economic demands. Despite these challenges that I have already mentioned, the government and various organizations in Georgia are committed to advancing SDG 9 and promoting sustainable development in the country. The establishment of initiatives such as GITA and the Georgian Innovation and Technology Park are important steps in this direction, and further efforts will be needed to ensure that Georgia's infrastructure, industrialization, and innovation continue to develop in a sustainable and inclusive manner. And in conclusion, I can say that I hope that we will be able to solve this, to find a solution to this problem, because this platform is really useful to share your ideas, to accept others' viewpoint. And thank you again for giving me this great opportunity, because I don't have vast experience in this field. And every day, really, I am like gaining or acquiring and develop various skills that are very useful for life. And I'm also collecting very useful information. And thank you again, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. And every day you are here and you are on point. We really appreciate you. And again, you have so much data and research about your country, and you've been giving us so much knowledge. We really appreciate that, because we want to find solutions in all countries. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Our next international guest speaker is Caleb Timlin Samuel. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for for this nice initiative, bringing leaders around to make sure that we discuss about the UN SDG goals. And I must say that has been educative for the past few days, and I've really learned a lot from high-profile persons and you too. Thank you very much. So I am Samuel Caleb Timileyin from Nigeria. So this afternoon we'll be discussing on the UN SDG goal 9, that has to do with infrastructure, innovation, and industry. When we talk about these 3 goals, we must be aware that these 3 things contribute greatly to economic growth and development, and particularly technology has over time been proven that it can be used to solve environmental challenges. As per the UN SDG Goal 9, it is closely related to other SDG goals that we've been talking about for the past few days and the ones we'll be talking about in the next few days. It has to do with no poverty, that has to do with Goal 1, Goal 2, zero hunger. This goal is very, very much important. That has to do with good health and well-being, Goal 3. That has to do with gender equality, Goal 5. That has to do with Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. And that has to do with the one we'll be talking about in the next 2 days, which is Goal 11 of the sustainable cities and communities. That has to do with Goal 16 that we'll be talking about too in the coming days, peace, justice, and strong institution. And finally, the Goal 17 of the partnership for the goal. So I would like to bring up some statistics from the United Nations. We want to see how far we've been able to progress in that has to do with the UN SDG Goal 9. The manufacturing industry recovery from COVID-19 remains incomplete and uneven. Some high-income regions achieved record high manufacturing value added per capita in 2022, but levels in LDCs that has to do with the least developed countries, were not much higher than the 2015 baseline. In the aftermath of the pandemic, data shows that higher technology industries recovered faster and proving to be more reliant. So this has to mean that the higher the technology industries, the higher the manufacturing value added. This manufacturing value added per capita income is just trying to talk about what you produce in relation to what people buy, the amount of production you've been able to. And we must be aware that for you to have a very buoyant economy, you must be a producing nation, you must have industries, you must have infrastructure. And then before you can have industries and infrastructure, of course, you must have developed yourself technologically, because technology goes a long way in making sure that there's access to information and in making sure that a lot of problems that arise from economic system is solved. So to meet the UN SDG Goal 9 by 2030, we must support least developed countries, the LCDs. It is very important that, like I said yesterday when we were talking about the UN SDG Goal 8 of economic growth, so I was making mention of these developed countries not being able to finance their technologies. Most African countries do not have that finance to finance their technologies. And these technologies today, we all know it has the ability to get so many people employed. That has to do with ending poverty and as well creating employment that has to meet the UN SDG Goal 8, which we discussed yesterday, decent job and economic growth. So investing in advanced technologies is also part of it, and to lower carbon emissions, increase global mobile broadband access. So according to the United Nations statistics, global manufacturing value added per capita increased from $1,646 constant 2015 prices in 2015 to $1,875 in 2022. So this has to mean that within the space of 7 years, there has been a difference of $229. So while Europe and Northern America reached an all-time high of $5,052 in 2022, manufacturing value added per capita in least developed countries reached only $159, which is far from the target of doubling their value of $126 in 2015. Although the share of manufacturing in least developed countries, the LCDCs, increased from 12.1% in 2015 to 14.0% in 2022. So this pace is not really sufficient to achieve the target of doubling the share by 2030. So while these developed countries in Asia have made considerable progress and are on track, African least developed countries will need to significantly accelerate their progress for the goal to remain attainable by 2030. So I want us to get it clear that whenever we talk about sustainable investment in our infrastructure and innovation, it brings about economic growth and economic development. So when we talk about investments in technologies also, so these technologies also, it provides more new jobs for people who are not employed. In the economic aspect, it is enough to make sure that the majority of people who are not employed get their jobs. And also technology can be used to solve environmental challenges that has to do with energy efficiency. So this is very important, as because the reason why we see so many African nations now are seriously battling with poverty is because of these key things that we've been discussing for the past 2 days that has to do with energy efficiency and the acceleration of electrification. Because when there are no investments in all these things that has to do with technology, that has to do with digital economy, of course, such nation will not actually do well. They will not have economic growth. They will not have economic development. So investment in research and innovation facilitates sustainable development also. When you look at countries like Sweden, Sweden is a very innovative country. And when you look at their gross domestic product, you discover that they are doing well, they are on the high side. But when you come down to the continent of Africa, you don't really invest in innovations. And this thing creates industries that has to do with creation of infrastructure also, that will also accelerate the economy of a country. So I would like to share one more stat also from the United Nations. Mobile broadband 3G or above access is available to 95% of the world's population, while 4G coverage has doubled to 88% between 2015 and 2022. However, growth is slowing down and connecting the remaining 5% is proving difficult. In sub-Saharan Africa, that has to do with Western Africa down to Southern, down to the countries below Sahara Desert, the gap is 18%, predominantly affecting the population of Central and Western Africa. The coverage gap is almost the same in least developed countries and landlocked developed countries. So bridging this gap is also important to equal access to information and knowledge, which fosters innovation and entrepreneurship. So when these gaps are not being bridged in the area of access to information, you will discover that so many businesses will close down before their time. You will discover that there will not be access to loans for the medium scale and enterprises. There will not be loans for them. So I would like to give us, how has Nigeria been able to progress in this issue of loans from the government to the medium scale enterprise? I would like to share statistics that has to do with that. So small scale, according to United Nations, small scale industries lack access to financial support for recovery. Only 1 in 3 small manufacturers are benefiting from a loan or line of credit. This has to do with from 2020 to 2021. Now, we must understand also that technological progress in Nigeria is dependent on access to information, digital platform, and information. So the 2013 statistics from the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, which is known as MEDAN, reports showed that there are over 17 million micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises contributing 50% of the nation's GDP. But it was noted that less than 5% of these businesses have adequate access to financial credit. So there are priority areas of assistance to these MSMEs are access to finance, provision of infrastructure, and regular power supply. So we discovered that so many businesses are shutting down because this internet are not being invested upon. When internet are not being invested upon, there will be no access to information, which is also a human right, because according to the human rights principle, everybody has the right and access to information. So in 2022, the medium, high, and high technology industry experienced solid growth, mainly due to the recovery in the automotive sector and consistently strong production in sectors such as computers, electronics, and optical products and electrical equipment. However, the production of basic pharmaceutical declined due to the COVID-19 situation and shortages of essential inputs. In 2020, Sub-Saharan Africa and least developed countries had low shares of medium, high, and high technology manufacturing at 21.7% and 10.6% respectively, compared to 47.7% in Europe and Northern America and 47.1% in East Asia that has to do with China, that has to do with Japan, that has to do with Korea, and that has to do with Taiwan also. So we must get it so well that when we talk about countries like China, these countries are investing so much. They are investing so much into technology. So, and when they invest so much into technology, there'll be basic need for the people in their country. So, which is why there's still much to be done, particularly on the African continent, that has to do with the support of the least developed countries also, that has to do with infrastructures, that has to do with low carbon emissions, and that has to do with increased global mobile broadband and access. So, and also investment in technology, it goes a long way to make sure that we have a very buoyant economy and to have an economic development also. So thank you very much for giving me this time to share my knowledge on the UNSDG Goal 9 that has to do with infrastructure, innovation, and industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So much knowledge, and we need you here every continent to show exactly what is going on in their continents and their countries. And you're giving us a lot of research and data and analysis. So it's really important for you to be here every day like you've been here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Our next international guest speaker is Tiana Naders. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Tiana Nadiradze, mathematician from Georgia. It is first time when I'm with you, so I'm glad to have the opportunity to participate in this meeting. In today's presentation, I want to talk about the infrastructural situation of Georgia and innovations in my country. Investments in infrastructure and innovation are one of the important drivers of the country's economic development. As the rural population gradually decreases, they choose the city for many reasons. So it becomes more and more important to have renewable sources to meet the needs of the population. We are proud to live in an age of technological development. But we often forget that too many people still do not have access to the internet, and the majority of them are from developing countries. Solving this digital problem will make access to information equally possible for all people, and it will also promote diversity of innovation and entrepreneurship. For example, we can get acquainted with the data of the National Statistical Service of Georgia. According to statistics, it was found that by July 2022, about 82% of people living in the city owned a smartphone, and 64% of the rural population, meaning the population aged 6 years and older. In general, about 75% of the population of Georgia owns a smartphone. In the technological era, you will agree that it's not such a good indicator. Based on statistical data, the monthly salary of construction workers in Georgia has increased by 1,600 JEL, which can be considered a positive result. The number of people employed in construction in 2022 compared to 2014 decreased by 6,000 people. So questions arise: either the construction index in the country has decreased, or the number of people seeking employment. It is also important to note that COVID-19 has hindered the development of industry, and economic growth has also stopped. As a clear example of this, I can tell you that in 2019, about 1,804 million was invested in industry investments. In 2020, this figure dropped to about 1,350 million. However, the positive result is that by 2021, the country has raised this figure to 1,500 million. Today, Georgia and many countries of the world are facing the most difficult task: how to find ways to overcome the production crisis. Because developed and strong entrepreneurship means a strengthened economy. Only economically, socially, and ecologically balanced production infrastructure should be allowed and appropriate to ensure real growth and sustainable development. Creation of new products and industrial modernization should be carried out by investment in innovation, new technologies, research and development, also in training. Thank you for your attention.
Wow, you did an excellent job. Thank you so much for joining the platform. And I am so excited to hear from you again. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Our next international guest speaker is going to be Velma de las Barbosa. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, dear Tiana. It's a pleasure being here with you all. Thank you for the invitation. Well, working with the SDGs is really important with students. And today we are talking about Goal 9, the importance of using technology. So here in my town, in a small town in Brazil, we are trying to prepare our students, the ones who are leaving the high school when they enter in university, trying to empower them on how to learn more about technology and prepare them to go to the job market, because many of them don't have money to pay for going to the university. And then we have some schools to prepare them to go straight to the job market. So the ones who don't have any money to go to university, unfortunately, many of them don't have. So we have special schools to prepare them to go to the job market. And I work with teenagers who are 11 years older, and then I try teaching them on how to cope with the technology we have these days, because we can see that the teenagers are so worried about using the technology for using the WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, and this kind of thing, but they don't know how to use the technology for to benefit them with the knowledge. For example, the ChatGPT that we have today, lots of people are using it to do the homework for them. And I was watching a video this week, a doctor talking about this. He was saying that we are so worried and we are afraid of the development of technology, but we are not teaching our teenagers and young adults to use the technology at their works, to use the technology to learn more. So if you have everything on your hands, if you have the technology in front of you, why not using the technology to learn, to work better, to learn new skills? People are using, unfortunately, they are using the technology to ask silly questions. And even Alexa, people are asking Alexa, tell me jokes. Why tell me jokes? Why not motivating our kids and teenagers to teach them, ask useful things that will help them become better people, better employees, even the young ones. They're not using the technology to become better people. They are using it, unfortunately, to have fun at that moment. And this is pretty sad. So talking about technology and relating to the Go9, I can see that it's pretty important that we teachers, that we empower and teach our students how to use the technology to learn useful things. And this way they will be using the technology at their jobs, and they will be learning more and doing good use of technology, because technology should be our partner to help us learn better and not our enemy. That's what I believe. And technology is here to help us. We just have to learn how to use it in a good way, and also teach our kids and students, and also our employees. If you have a company, teach your employees how to use the technology in order they do a better work. Technology is here just to help us. Thanks, dear Tiana, for having me here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And Velma Barbosa has been an amazing person. She has been able to do partnership with the kids, All Lives Do Exist, for the year. And there's been a lot of different things she's done. She's gone to the United Nations in New York. So she does know what she's talking about. She's, traveled and made the attempt to share her thoughts and efforts with humanity. And we really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Our next international guest speaker today is going to be Poonam Gathi.
Good evening, Tina.
Good evening.
I am a listener today, not a speaker.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome, dear.
Thank you. The next international speaker today is Piyush Raja. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiana. Namaste from India. Myself is Ambassador Dr. Piyush Raja, and I heartily congratulate you all for being the part of this conference. And in my view, humanity is a one and only religion, and peace is one and only option for being happy. Am I audible? Okay. Thank you. So today I want to something about the fundamental to our existence as a species, humanity. We all know humanity is more than just being human. It's a quality that defines us as a species. It is a set of values and beliefs that we hold, and it is the way to treat each other and the world around us. Humanity is about compassion, empathy, and kindness. It is about recognizing the value and the worth for every individual and treating them and respect. We all know We have seen the Ukraine and Russia war, and all Syria war, and we have seen many things in around the world. Believe in a world that we can be harsh and forgiving at times. We are bombarded with the news of violence, hatred, and conflicts. It can be easy to lose sight of the good in the world and become, however, it is important to remember that there is still so much good in humanity. We all know every day there are countless acts of kindness that go be noticed. There are people who dedicate their lives to helping others, who work tirelessly to make the world a better place. There are individuals who show immense bravery in the face of adversity. We stand for what is right, even when it is so difficult. We are here together for one and only reason is humanity. It is important to recognize and celebrate these acts of humanity because they remind us of the power we have to make a positive difference in the world. We all have the ability to show kindness and compassion to others, to lend a helping, and when someone is in need, and to stand up what is right. So it is so important. We have to decide what is right, what is wrong. Unfortunately, there are still too many instances where humanity is lacking. We see acts of violence, hatred, discrimination, and it can be easy to feel hopeless. However, it is important to remember we have the power to make a difference. We have the power. We can choose to be kind, to be compassionate, and to stand up what is right. I urge all of you to embrace your humanity, your kindness to those around you. Lend a helping hand when you can, and stand up for what is right. Together we can create a world there is more just, more peaceful, and more compassionate. So thank you, Tiana, for giving me the opportunity, and you just messaged me and just saw your message. And today is the topic of humanity. So I have written many things about it, but I have written many poetries in Hindi and also in English, but in a short time, I have not prepared much. But next time you message me, and I will prepare for the conference. Thank you. Thanks to all. Namaste. Namaste from India.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful and inspirational. And that is the innovation inside the spirit that has to happen, is people have to let go of ego, aggression, and greed, and they have to be one with themselves to help others rather than thinking of themselves to help them first. You explained it perfectly from the heart. Thank you so much. Our next guest international speaker is from the United States, Tamara L. Hunter. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes, Tamara Hall Hunter from the United States of America. Yet I'd like to think of myself as a global person, that we are all global family. I ran and became the very first impactor, the next impactor, the global next impactor. What does that mean? Well, I want you to imagine living in a life of peace. There was a song that was written in 1971, a time that was very turbulent, like many would say is today. This is about infrastructure, innovation, and industry. Let me tell you, I come from that professionally. I was on a global level, a high level recruiter for 18 years. I ran my own company, or I worked for a Fortune 100 company, and I consulted global companies on this very topic. And yet I want to double down on what was just talked about. Do you know that there are blue zones that are considered communities? And they have done studies on this. Look it up, blue zones. And they have found that those people that live within blue zones, the infrastructure of it, the lives will be longer. Also, have you ever watched a TEDx talk and been like, wow, I want to do that? You have up to 18 minutes to make a difference. Well, you know what? Someone made a difference in 3.9. 3.9, his name is Derek Sivers. And he talked about how do you create a movement? Watch it. Because in that, he talks about the lone nut. I like to call it the lonely duck. And he's up there, he's on a hill, and he's listening to music, and he's rocking out. And everybody's kind of looking at him like, look at that lone duck. Look at that, he's a nut. And then it became a movement because one person joined him. That became the follower. And then the two of them are out there and they're smiling. You can watch it. Then others come. They're coming from all over this hill. And you know what ends up happening? The dynamic changes. It changes. It shifts. Because what happens, and you know, you could say that's the frequency, changes, because all of a sudden those that are standing and rocking out, they're looking at the ones that are sitting and saying, come on, what's the problem? Why aren't you joining us? No longer is it a lonely duck or an odd nut. It is a movement making a change. And you know what? I gave talks decades ago about the time that we're in now, and we're here. And you can have industry, infrastructure, innovations, and yet if you don't have the people to fill those positions and you don't have them trained up, and we've heard about all of that, then what are you going to do? You're going to have empty chairs. You're going to have technology that's ready to rock and roll, and yet you don't have the movement to make it going forward. You've got to take those baby steps. And how do you do that? You become that lonely duck. You get that fire inside of you. You get those soft skills going and you take those baby steps. You say, I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and together we can make this world one. You see, Lennon's song, John Lennon of the Beatles, you look at it back in the day, clean cut guys out of London, global family. They come to the United States and they become the rock and roll stars that they were. Well, right around the time that he wrote that song, he was not so clean cut. He wasn't wearing those little suits that they wore back then. No, they had just done the White Album. Look at that period of time. There was upheaval everywhere. And yet he knew we could join together. If we were to shape the world and we were to let go of the ego, if we were to let go of our old way of thinking, if we were to let go and start dreaming, and we were seeing, visualizing, knowing, you've got to know, and then you have to do, you have to believe, you have to get out there and make the difference. I have a nonprofit. You know what? I believe in them, yet I understand what they're saying about so many of them have gone askew. And so now we have for-profits with cause. For-profits with cause. And you know what? That's the way to rock and roll these days. Yet you can have the best of intentions, the best of formulas, the best of the numbers. You can know the facts. But if you don't have the people showing up to serve and be served, you have nothing. So we need to globally understand that we have to start with ourselves in our baby steps. We need to have those intentions. We need to see it. We need to visualize it. We have to be it. And then we have to show up. And we have to be those lonely nuts up there dancing to the sound. And you know what? One follower is all it takes to create a global movement. Go watch it. 3.9. 3 minutes, 9 seconds. And you know, I watched it. I started in 2017 to myself to start a global movement. Now I have people nearly in every continent that's working with me to make a difference for humanity. You see, because we believe that we can connect the world and that there can be healing humanity through connections. Using humor, hope, heart hugs, and a whole lot of love. We are stronger when we are together. And we here, and all of you watching, we together will change the world with our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the compassion has to be true. Thank you so much again. Our next international guest speaker here today is Ambassador Priyanka Niaji. Welcome. Can you hear us, Ambassador Priyanka Niaji? And sometimes we go through this, so we have to be patient because people are losing service in all different parts of the world. We can circle back to her because she will want to speak. Trust me. We have another international speaker here today, Rijwan Badhai. Can you hear us? Okay, so sometimes when we have international guest speakers, they do live in villages and they also live in different places where they have electricity problems. So even if it shows they're there, they can't hear us or they can't communicate with us, which is unfortunate because I realize that we are so blessed to have electricity, water, and innovation and infrastructure, because people really need that in their lives. They need energy, they need infrastructure and innovation. I believe that this takes not just a mental scale of somebody, but also the physical of the infrastructure, because there are buildings that are falling down. There are people that need to get those jobs to rebuild the bridges and rebuild the roads. I think that's another thing that we haven't talked about right now, that we did cover last year, that there needs to be, an evaluation on the infrastructure that has already been created. There's times where, a bridge will go 100 years without being redone, and then all of a sudden it collapses. And why is that? Because the people aren't necessarily having the investments or the private sectors come together to rebuild that. And I think that that is so important, because if you have something that already is built, that it has a foundation already, why not take new innovations and new ways of learning to build it even greater? I do believe that has to do with every topic, every SDG here, energy, ending poverty, zero hunger. And we're wondering why these things are happening in our world. Well, it does have a fundamental of the balance of what's going on in individuals' mindsets, and also private sectors, government sectors, and different organizations. And it's how they can withhold their self as a bridge. But that bridge has to come with being innovative and showing new development, new infrastructure toward what they've already built. And if they're able to take new research, new data, new people that are giving them help and knowledge for building something higher than what is the level of understanding they already have, that's going to be how we are going to stay sustainable. Because this is an example, right? What I'm explaining to you, but it is still something that is well talked about with this topic. The infrastructure in some cities and communities and also states and countries and also some continents, they have to adapt to evolution and what's happened now, because so much time passes and they don't put in the thoughts and energy and also the hard work into finding a solution for the issues that are happening in all of those places, in all of those categories. So if they're able to communicate with each other, to give each other a helping hand, knowledge, the past, present, and what can be the future of innovation, they can come together to find a way that that bridge won't fall down, or that bridge won't stay still and then crumble and then fall. We have to find a way to build up and putty it and, communicate with people that have the right skills and tools to build that bridge up, and also the gifts that they hold inside of them to learn new things. There's so many new inventors now. There's so many people with so many giftings and ideas. And what they need is the backing. They need the people that have already been doing this for 39, 40, 50, 60 years plus, even 10 years, 15 years, to say, okay, what can we do together that's really going to impact the world? It's hard to do things individually when you have so many people that are so competitive with each other, stealing ideas from each other. That's not the way that they're going to make it in this world. That's not how you're going to be discovered or founded, or we're going to be able to help people. Mental health is a true thing where we have to give people the innovation and the opportunities. If we are providing not just this platform, but an opportunity with finances, with education, with innovation, and with enhancing their spiritual giftings and enhancing the capabilities that they have inside of them, they possess inside of them, this too can help spread the message and move the energy quickly. Why do I mention energy? Energy has to do with also infrastructure. Mental health has something to do with infrastructure. Evaluating our mindsets and the awareness based on these things and these categories, and somehow bringing them all together, can find a new innovative way to give people back their power, give the people their power, give them the ability to proceed and go forward. And I believe that this has to do with having the right team. Having the right team of organizations, people, businesses, and individuals that are going to come together will make sure there's no gap in that bridge. They're not putting a gap between that bridge. They know where that skill set goes. They know where that putty or the bricks need to be placed, which is an example of a infrastructure bridge that has to be rebuilt and also reinvented and also, fixed. It has to have more, fundamentals of being fixed. How do we do that? We have to evaluate our emotions, our thoughts, have a positive energy, positive environment, and bring people together to do that. I believe it can be done. And I know that people have to build together to see the best value in each other, because that's what it comes down to, is being humbleized, being happy to overcome these circumstances and growing with each other in a group form. When you find the right people to help you and find the right people to connect with you, it's going to happen. People are Hi, Ambassador, for joining us. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our next international speaker. I just wanted to give insight on this topic because, you know, Rome was built with a foundation of so many people putting in the work. This has to happen in that direction, but we don't want it to fall. We want it to now be a new 21st century increase, to be innovative, to grow, to build, and stand very tall and strong. We want to change history because history tends to repeat itself. People tend to make the same mistakes over and over again. So if we're able to do that, we can change the dynamic of the course for a lot of people. Now, we do have one more international speaker, Ambassador Priyanka Niaji. Are you ready to speak? So I'm not sure if she is speaking today. I'm going to go ahead and follow through with just telling you this last piece of emotion with humanity. We are here to spread global peace. We're here to give people encouragement. We're here to give them confidence. And we want to bring new innovation. That means come here to these platforms, teach us with your research, with your knowledge, and with your experience so we can all learn from that. And together we can build the place of love and compassion in each other's hearts by showing the light in our hearts. And we want people to know why we're doing this, because the intention has to be purified. You have to know who you are to build that foundation. So congratulations to all the speakers, and I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. And God bless you and stay tuned. Thank you guys. Take care.